Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be reviewing Season 1 Dexter Resurrection. As you can tell, I've not done this as an episode by episode review just because it's taken me a while to get through Original Sin, so I didn't want to commit to that. Dexter Resurrection. It's been a while since I've done this. Dexter Resurrection basically is a direct sequel to Dexter New Blood. It's kind of becoming a little bit hard to work it all out, all these like spin-off little mini names and stuff. But yeah, so Dexter New Blood leads to Dexter Resurrection. I'm unsure why they couldn't have just kept it Dexter New Blood Season 2, if I'm being honest, because it is pretty much a direct sequel. There's changes obviously, but it's not story-wise. It's not a completely different story. It's a continuation of what happened. So the plot for this, the beginning plot anyway, is Dexter Morgan awakens from a coma and sets out for New York City, determined to find Harrison and make things right. So. Because it's a continuation of Dexter New Blood, it's obviously dealing with a lot of the issues that kind of was caused from the season before with Harrison. Obviously, Harrison thinks he killed his dad. So it is kind of delving into that and giving us a few more conversations I think that we were lacking in Dexter New Blood. I enjoyed Dexter New Blood for context. I enjoyed the series. I actually rewatched it leading into Resurrection and then binged Resurrection right in time for the last episode. So it was great timing for me to kind of get into it all. But saying that, I think it hits, being able to binge it in one go was like a good thing and a bad thing, because the way they kind of deal with certain aspects of New Blood and kind of just brush it under the rug were a little bit frustrating. Obviously, there's Angela is just suddenly gone, even though she was so passionate about like getting justice and all this stuff. But now suddenly, nope, done, gone with, nowhere to be seen. She's had enough and isn't risking that. And I do get that. Like, she has a daughter, I get it. But you'd like to think she'd have powered through to at least see Angel Batista, or I think yeah. So that's kind of brushed under the rug. My overall thoughts on the season, because I'll give my overall thoughts and then I'll delve into the deeper thoughts I had that are maybe a bit more spoiler related. So overall, as a Dexter fan, I enjoyed it. It's worth a watch. Would I say it's the best season of Dexter? No. But would I say it's the worst? Also, no. I think there is elements that were enjoyable. There's aspects. Michael C. Hall is great as always. Harrison's character really comes on, and then obviously the other cast and crew that you see around it. It is a good show. So I would recommend giving it a watch, seeing where the Dexter universe delves into, because there's nothing quite like Dexter on TV. I'm not gonna lie, it does hit a spot very well. That being said, the spoiler side of things now. Obviously, Dexter is off to New York to kind of help Harrison out, and Harrison has basically lost the shit and killed somebody. So Dexter is trying to clean up after him a little bit and help him, be like a little angel watching over him. That being said, Angel is also on the scene, out for tracking Dexter down and knowing something's a bit sketchy with this whole Bay Harbor Butcher thing, and he pretty much is like Dexter's Bay Harbor Butcher. He definitely is. So he's trying to like get justice for LaGuerta and Dokes, which obviously I'm like, yes. I feel like the only way you can really, I think New Blood would have been a good ending if there was just a scene with Angel and Dexter really hashing it out and kind of like, you're the Bay Harbor Butcher then, and kind of going to these people die for you, stuff that we got in this season, but then have it end the same way. Like, then he still gets out of jail and finds Harrison, and Harrison kills him because he's like, you'll never stop. And then that's like, that I would have been happy with. Because then we could have maybe had like a little montage at the end where Dokes' name is finally cleared after like 19, 20 years or something. He's no longer the Bay Harbor Butcher, and all these things can have been like delved into and brought to a light. You could have had maybe people's reactions, whether people thought Dexter was a hero, vigilante, or like kind of the stuff that he was intrigued by in the original show in season 2, because like in season 1 it ends with him imagining everyone praising him, being like him finally out as the Bay Harbor Butcher, even dead. We could have had a montage and like closure bits of like Masuka and Quinn being like, oh shit, he was the Bay Harbor Butcher. And yeah, just added closure in the bigger universe of people being like, oh, so that's who it was in the end. Obviously, Angel does fight, like, he does challenge Dexter, he does try and track him, he's out to bring him down, and I'm so here for this, like, head to head, until the show does what the show does, and Angel dies, but not by Dexter's hands either. Conveniently enough, another person kills the righteous person that's in the way of Dexter being Dexter. So very similar to how LaGuerta died, with Deb killing her, and then Dokes died by Lila's hands. There's always someone else to kind of save Dexter's skin a little bit, and it felt a little bit repetitive. It felt notes we've had before, storylines we've had before. So, and I'm a little bit like, well, who would actually bring Dexter down then, with enough closure from like the original show? Because he's really like, yeah, he's like the character that's been in all spin-off shows now, like New Blood, Resurrection, Original Sin, and the original show. So it would have been quite cool for like a head-to-head, or maybe like after that he could have maybe made it out of Peter Dinklage, I can't remember his name, Peter Dinklage's mansion, and went into hiding because he's like, this got real, I need to like hide and regroup, and then maybe come back if they wanted to keep seasons going, but still kind of keep that card aside, so we could have experienced a Miami Metro taking down the Bay Harbor Butcher finally, with enough history and nostalgia to kind of warrant the closure for it. But so that's kind of my view on the Angel thing. I am sad that he died. I loved Angel. He was amazing. Yeah, I'm just sad that like, it ended like that, with such a like one-off little bad guy of the season. It's not even like Harrison killed him. I guess that would be very, very similar to the Deb thing, but yeah, it just, yeah. The other aspects of the show. So basically, the serial killer aspects that has Dexter all happy and stuff is he ends up in a serial killer group and run by Peter Dinklage's character. It's got Cam from Modern Family, it's got Jessica Jones, but I more know her from stuff like Veronica Mars and Breaking Bad, of course. Neil Patrick Harris from How I Met Your Mother, and the Gemini killer guy. I can't actually remember who he was. Like, I think he's a well-known person. I just don't think he was well-known for me. Anyway, for me, it felt weirdly cartoonish, these characters coming out. Like, these actors, because I'm very aware that these are these actors. That my other half kind of referred to it as, like, it feels like a spoof of Dexter. And in aspects, I feel like the original show was a spoof of cop shows, whereas now I've had this season sit with me a couple of days. I kind of agree with him. By using these famous actors, it did feel a little bit like a spoof for YouTube, taking the mick, or like like a sponsored advert. Like, he'll kill Neil Patrick Harris, and then a sponsorship will come for Fancy Knives or cling film. Like, it felt a bit odd. The only thing I can kind of say is that most of them are killed quite fast. It's not like be all and end all points. It's they're not like big massive things for the season, but then also the tension was kind of cut fast, so there weren't any chance to build tensions between characters. For me, Dexter Resurrection just kind of feels like a lot of the same notes we've previously had, like with Angel getting killed by the bad guy, and then when Dexter is talking to all the serial killers, his monologue is very, very similar in aspects to the one he gives in season 2 about the mask is slipping, but that one felt a bit more like dark and it just had more tone to it. This one in a fancy house in like the Hamptons castle thing just kind of feels in a room with a load of serial killers, because apparently we've got serial killers everywhere, like everywhere. And it just felt a little bit cartoony, like that aspect. And then the other was kind of like, obviously the Angel and Dexter stuff is very similar to Dokes and Dexter, and it doesn't go a different route. Like, obviously it can be similar, but end differently, don't end the same. And then the last little bit that I remember thinking, this feels like just we're playing the same notes, but not as well as the original song. Like, when, is it Prater? Peter Dinklage's character sees Dexter having a meal and he comes up and he's like, it's kind of very meant to be similar to the "Hello, Dexter Morgan" moment that you have with the Trinity Killer. It's just, in the next episode, it's kind of just like, nah, well, we moved on now, he's done. Where was the tension? Where was the stakes? There were stakes and there weren't. There were lots of aspects that I really enjoyed. I just think overall, I think it needs to really step up. It's definitely not the worst season, and I'm glad about that. But I just think it needs to show more consequences, I think, for Dexter, because by this point, he has been getting away with this for decades, like decades upon decades, and everyone that kind of comes close to finding out just somewhat dies really conveniently at this point. And I know there's always a comparison between like Breaking Bad and Dexter, and I watched Dexter back in the day, and I've only just watched Breaking Bad, and like once that hit the fan in Breaking Bad, you knew, and it was going down a certain path with stakes and tension, and there was closure, and I just, with the more and more people you kind of kill off, the less I'm ever going to get closure from these people finding out. So overall, I know I said I'd recommend watching it, and I've just slated it for over 12 minutes. I would recommend watching it. I am excited over season 2. There are aspects, obviously they've hinted to the New York Ripper. We've got Rapunzel, which is Cam's character, in the still out there. So they have left stuff to be explored in the next season. I hope they tone it down with the amount of serial killers we get in a season, and maybe kind of build more stakes and self-discovery, because I think the original show worked really well because, yes, he was a serial killer, but he was also dealing with, like, balancing work hobbies and personal life, and that's slightly relatable. And then, like, when he had a kid, it's, again, balancing all the, like, aspects. So he was, like, there was a human element to it that I feel like you could kind of relate to Dexter before, like with his inner monologue. And, you know, we've all had them thoughts. I'm not like killing people, God. We've all had those, like, oh God, like, and I'm not gonna lie, I've probably joked and been like, oh, I see plastic sheets in your future. And there was aspects that made him more relatable. And I feel like at the moment they're losing that just on the cartoonness of the fact that he does seem to get away with everything, in a nice, convenient little bow, essentially. So hopefully it moves. Season 2 is progressing on. I don't really know much about the direction of the show. I don't know what the end goal is. I just hope, as long as, is it Clyde Phillips? It's Clyde Phillips. Yeah, as long as Clyde Phillips stays on board, I hope he writes an end, like a true ending to Dexter, like an actual ending that just gives us the closure, gets poor Dokes free from any, you know, stupid bad name, blood. I know he's dead, but, you know, I mean, like, his family and everyone can be finally have the closure of knowing that he didn't do all those things. I just hope it can get there. So, in summary, I'd give it a watch. It's a good time. It's not, don't think too deeply into it, otherwise it might ruin it, is all I'd say. It's a good time, and it works. It's Michael C. Hall doing what he does best, playing Dexter. So, if you liked this video, if you thought my ramblings weren't too much of a ramble, and you got something out of it, please give it a like, a subscribe, or leave a comment down below and tell me what you thought about Resurrection, if you agreed with some of my points, or if there's actually different aspects you enjoyed more. But yeah, let me know what you think down below. Alright, see ya. Bye!